Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is the man in the black mask, and I would have came forward Friday, but I needed time to relax, you know what I'm saying, because of what I heard on the news. Yes, I heard something on the news that still shocks me to this day, as bizarre as this sounds, you know what I'm saying. This is about five fired Memphis cops who are charged in the beating death of Tyree Nichols. I'm sure a lot of you are still in disbelief that these assholes were black and not a single one of them was white. And yes, it pisses me off more than anything because now this means how the hell are we going to trust the police now? And tell you the truth, I don't trust them myself, but I wouldn't wish or preach violence against police or any figure of authority. I just wouldn't. I mean, it just fucking baffles me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad, right? I am happy that they've terminated the Scorpion Unit. And this stands for Street Crimes Operation for Restoring Peace in Our Neighborhoods. How the hell are you going to create peace in our neighborhoods when all you're doing is creating war? And it's good that they disbanded the crash unit back in the early 2000s because that was talked about throughout the 80s and 90s, especially at a time when the Rodney King beatings took place. You know what I'm saying? I'll tell you. Because I'm sure a lot of you remember Rodney King and the aftermath, that being the LA riots. Now, the crash unit has been replaced with GAN, and which stands for Gang and Narcotics Division. Yes. Okay? Now, let me just read this article to you because this is still going to be talked about for weeks on end. So I expect this video to do better. Who knows? 5 Memphis police officers were charged on Thursday with second-degree murder for the death of Tyree Nichols, a 29-year-old black man, after a traffic stop that escalated into what authorities have described as a display of staggering brutality. I feel the same way, too. This was staggering brutality on all ends. I mean, what the fuck? The city has been bracing for more than a week for the release of video footage that officials say depicts in agonizing detail how was stopped this month for suspicion of reckless driving, ended with Mr. Nichols being hospitalized in critical condition on January 7th and dying 3 days later. Fast forward to January 10th, which is not too long ago. Civic leaders and others in Memphis have raised concerns about the reaction the footage could provoke among residents who are already anguished and outraged about Nichols' death. Now, I saw the video on CNN, and yes, it made me want to tear this fucking room up after I saw the video. I was very pissed off at that video. Okay? And he was telling the cops I didn't do nothing. And then all of a sudden, they just started fucking beating him for no reason. Just fucking pounced him and killed him. He fell into a coma and died. Now, this has left a big mark on the black community in regards to the black trauma that we face. Because a lot of us are dealing with shit that we shouldn't even have to fucking deal with in the first place. And now you put these sumbitches in the mix. And what do you got? Total nuclear motherfucking war. And that's what's going to happen in a few years. A total nuclear civil war. And we're going to have a race war. So don't say I didn't warn you. Last time we had a civil war, Abraham Lincoln was still alive, for fuck's sake. A grand jury returned indictments on Thursday against the 5 officers, Tadarius Bean, Demetrius Haley, Emmett Martin III, Desmond Mills Jr., and Justin Smith, with charges that include kidnapping, official misconduct, and official oppression. In addition to second-degree murder, prosecutors said. The officers, all of whom are black, were fired last week. Yeah, fuck you, motherfucker. The actions of all of them resulted in the death of Tyree Nichols, and they are all responsible. Stephen J. Mulroy, the district attorney for Memphis, told reporters on Thursday, I got family in Memphis, okay? I just want to tell y'all that. I got family out there. And back in 94, my grandmother brought me to Memphis for one weekend. You know what I'm saying? Took a week off of school, and I saw a lot of my family down there. And now just about all of them is dead. But I'm glad I got to see some of them while they were still alive. So thank you, Grandma. All right. Officials have sought to assuage residents, promising an aggressive pursuit of accountability on Thursday. 16 days after Nichols died, well, Mr. Nichols, actually, they offered up the charges as evidence that they were following through. We did work quickly to expedite this investigation, Mr. Rory said. Yeah, this was 16 days after Mr. Nichols died that they filed murder charges against those 5 fired piece of shit officers. The city is expected to release the video on Friday evening, which they already have. Okay, they already have. Officials said it would consist of nearly an hour of footage taken from police cameras and stationary cameras, with limited redactions, such as blurring out faces of people who are not city employees, people who will be able to see the entire incident from beginning to end, Mr. Mulroy said in an appearance on CNN. I saw the video, but I didn't believe it. It just made me want to fucking throw up what they were doing to him. Pepper spraying, slapping, beating him with billy clubs and shit. Jesus fucking Christ. The officers were booked into the Shelby County Jail on Thursday with bail amounts ranging from $250,000 and $350,000 as of Friday morning. All but one posted bail and have been released. If I was a prosecutor, I wouldn't have posted no bail. Let them motherfuckers stay in jail. Shit. If they can kill an innocent man, black or white, what makes you think they won't do this to somebody else? I mean, get the fuck out of here. The charges grew out of an unusually fast-moving state investigation that revealed that the officers who were part of a specialized unit patrolling high-crime areas of the city, the Scorpion unit, which has since been disbanded, had used a level of force that was beyond excessive, officials said. A separate federal civil rights investigation is also underway. Bingo. The way I see it, they can all go fuck themselves. In a word, it's absolutely appalling. David Rausch, director of the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, which led the investigation, said of what he witnessed in the footage. I'm shocked. I'm sickened by what I saw and what we learned through our investigation, he added. Let me be clear. What happened here does not reflect proper policing. This was wrong. This was criminal. Fucking ain't right it was. I mean, come on. Didn't we all see the fucking tape? In Memphis, a city of 628,000, where nearly 2/3 of residents are black. The fact that all 5 of the fired officers are black has added a complicated layer of pain. I was waiting for their faces to be on TV, said Carrie Louise Penton, a 73-year-old resident and longtime activist. And when I saw all black policemen, how could you do this? That's what I was asking when I saw the fucking footage on CNN. How the fuck could they do that? Fucking demented fruitcakes. Lawyers representing the officers said on Thursday that they had not seen the video and could not comment specifically on the allegations. Still, they urged the community to avoid rushing to judgment and challenge the portrayal of the officers as vicious and violent. No one out there that night intended for Tyree Nichols to die, said William Massey, who was representing Mr. Martin. Somehow, I don't believe that shit. I think they intended for Mr. Nichols to die. If you have a different opinion, just leave a comment under the box. And if I catch it, I'll respond to it. At this point, we don't know what proof they have, he added. We do not have discovery, and we've not seen the video, so we're kind of in the blind right now. Blake Ballin, a lawyer representing Mr. Mills, said his client was a father and family man who, quote, could not be more upset about this entire situation, end quote. Mr. Nichols' family has said earlier this week that they wanted first-degree murder charges for the officers. Well, so did I, after I saw the tape. But Ben Crump, a civil rights lawyer representing them, said on Thursday that they considered the indictment an encouraging development. Well, let's hope so. The news today from Memphis officials that these 5 officers are being held criminally accountable for their deadly and brutal actions gives us hope that we continue to push for justice for Tyree, Mr. Crump said in a statement. In his own statement, President Biden said that Mr. Nichols' family deserved a swift and full and transparent investigation into his death, adding that violence, quote, has no place in our peaceful protest, end quote. Mr. Biden has also acknowledged that police killings, quote unquote, disparately impact black communities and called on Congress to pass a police reform bill named in memory of George Floyd that stalled in the Senate during his first year in office. Well, I guess you can blame the Republicans for that. The way I see it, they suck too much dick. Every motherfucking thing that gets brung up is politics related. You can bet on that. That's why they won't pass Biden's fucking laws. I mean, hell, we'll be lucky if they pass one, but thanks to the fucking Republicans that run the motherfucking Senate or the House or whatever the fuck, guess what? that's going to come more harder than easy. So again, don't fucking count on it. Mr. Nichols was stopped on the evening of January 7th near the southeastern corner of the city. The officers who stopped him were part of a group that specialized officers known as the Scorpion Unit, which was created in 2021 to work in neighborhoods where crime and violence have been pervasive. Well, these 5 black fucking pricks changed the face of the Scorpion Unit in a really shit way. And now as a result, that unit is dead. They just killed the operation today, if not yesterday. But a whole bunch of shit is going to come out. So gear up for that, ladies and gentlemen, and kids. Some of you that are watching this right now or may watch it later. The police, in an initial statement, said that a confrontation occurred as the officers approached Mr. Nichols' vehicle and he ran away. There was then, quote unquote, another confrontation as officers arrested him. The statement said, Mr. Nichols complained of shortness of breath, and an ambulance was called to take him to a hospital, officials said. His family shared photographs of Mr. Nichols in the hospital, apparently unconscious and relying on a ventilator with his face bruised and swollen. I saw that too, man, and I was not pleased. And my response was, those son of a bitches, you motherfucking cocksucking sons of bitches. How fucking dare you do that to us? Fucking pig-ass punk motherfuckers. Look what you did to us. Look what the fuck you did, you fucking pricks. These fucking cops, man, I'm telling you, man. How the hell are we supposed to trust them now? We will never be able to trust the law to do the right thing by us, thanks to what those 5 cops did. Even if they get convicted and sent to jail for life, guess fucking what? That's not going to help us one bit. If anything, it might just be some kind of fucking cornerstone, but it's not going to permanently ensure justice for us because look what they've been doing all these fucking years since slavery. Our trauma dates back to the slave trade. Think about that. We were killed for opposing our masters. And we couldn't own no fucking land. We couldn't even make money. We had to work for free. Or we got our asses beat, or we got tortured and killed, or whatever the fuck. Jesus fuck. Governor Bill Lee of Tennessee, a Republican, said in a statement that cruel criminal abuse of power will not be tolerated in the state of Tennessee, and that Memphis and its police department need to take a hard look at the misconduct and failure that has occurred within this unit. Last week, the police department said that 5 officers have been fired after a thorough review of the circumstances surrounding this incident, which found that they had violated department policies on excessive use of force, duty to intervene, and duty to render aid. They clearly abused and neglected Mr. Nichols, and as a result of their neglect, he's dead. And I hope that his family sues the city and wins. Hopefully they'll never have to work again. Shit. I mean, who wouldn't love that? Last week, the police department said the 5 officers have been fired. Wait, shit, I already read that part. The Memphis Fire Department has said that 2 of its employees who responded to the scene who have also been relieved of duty, while it conducts its own internal investigation. The 5 officers who were charged all joined the department between 2017 and 2020. Other officers are also being investigated for policy violations, officials said. Sarah Davis, the Memphis police chief, said that she has ordered a review of specialized groups like the Scorpion Unit. In a video statement posted online Wednesday, Ms. Davis, the police chief, said the public will see footage that was infuriating and unsettling. This incident was heinous, reckless, and inhumane, she said. And in the vein of transparency, when the video is released in the coming days, you will see this for yourself. I expect you to feel what the Nichols family feels, Chief Davis added. I expect you to feel outrage and the disregard of basic human rights, as our police officers have taken an oath to do the opposite of what transpired on the video. I got to see the video again on YouTube because I'm sure there's a lot more in there too. I'm sure some of you got YouTube, and yes, I do too. Some of the first descriptions of what was recorded at the scene were shared on Monday by Mr. Nichols' family and their lawyers after they were shown the video in private. Mr. Nichols' mother, Rovon Wells, had to stop the video when she tried to watch it. His stepfather called it horrifying. Antonio Romanucci, the lawyer for the family, said the video showed Mr. Nichols being pummeled like a human pinata. What did I do? That was his question. Mr. Crump said of Mr. Nichols during a Monday news conference. What did I do? And he goes, what did I do? I didn't do nothing. And then they just jumped him like a fucking dog. The video showed Mr. Nichols was beaten by officers for 3 minutes. Mr. Romanucci said, adding that he was also pepper sprayed, shot with a stun gun, and restrained. A stun gun is known as a taser. It could also be a cattle prod, especially if it's this long. If it's this long, it's a cattle prod. Otherwise, it's a taser. Mr. Nichols told the officers that he just wanted to go home, his lawyer said. His parents' house was less than 100 yards away. As the release of the video looms, officials, community leaders, and Mr. Nichols' family have implored residents not to let demonstrations morph into something more dangerous and destructive. Quote, my hope is that they all remain peaceful because the last thing we need on top of this tragedy is for a protest to get out of hand, end quote, said Ian Rudolph, chairman of the Memphis NAACP's Political Action Committee. At a vigil on Thursday night, Ms. Wells said, quote, if you're here for me and Tyree, you'll protest peacefully, end quote. And this is what the man in the black mask is telling you too. We need peace and unity in this time of now. Ms. Wells also said this, we don't tear up our cities because we do have to live in them, she added. I agree. The Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security said in a statement that it would be monitoring protests and it stands ready to assist communities along with local, state, and federal partners, end quote. Mr. Nichols' death has fueled anger with the police department at a moment in Memphis when tensions over violence and crime have also prompted calls to expand the force. Those frustrations were intensified last year after a kindergarten teacher was abducted on an early morning jog and then found dead. And a shooting spree by a gunman who killed 4 people, wounded 3 others, and set off a manhunt across the city. Quote, we just have a long way to go as a police department, especially a police department that looks a lot like what the community looks like, said Tory Harris, a state lawmaker. The Reverend Dr. Rosalind Nichols, who also leads an activist coalition in Memphis called MICA, said, quote, there's something inside of policing and the culture of policing that must change, end quote. We have officers who felt comfortable doing what those officers did, said Ms. Nichols, who is not related to Tyree Nichols. Quote, and that is deplorably unacceptable, end quote. Now, I'm going to get out a few more articles related to this, so yeah, get ready, okay? And I'm telling you, man, this is so fucked up on so many levels. I'm telling you, man, this has got to be the worst fucking time of our lives. And the man in the black mask is urging us to just band together and fight these fucking idiots to the death, okay? We must fight for justice, okay? But again, in a way that represents calm. We need calm, peace, and unity. Because this violent shit ain't going to bring Tyree Nichols back. It's just going to create more war. Okay? And we don't need that. It's about time that we fight for justice. And part of getting justice is for us as a black community to advocate for ourselves and send a message that this shit is not tolerated. We will not tolerate people like you abusing and neglecting us just because we're black. Regardless of whether we're crazy or sick or rich or poor, whatever the fuck. That don't give them no right to fuck with us any way they please. They just can't fucking do that. We have to fight for ourselves. But quiet though. If you want to go to the protests in Manhattan, good luck. But be careful. That's all I'm saying. If I had the right people to go to the protest with, I would have brought them. I would have escorted them there. Okay? Because yes, it's about time that we need to fight together instead of against each other. This shit been going on for far too long. And that can't happen no more. Every one of us has been hurt in so many ways. but we got to fight for each other, okay? Just listen to the man in the black mask and watch this video. That's all I'm saying, okay? If you like it, if you understand it, then just subscribe. If you have any comments whatsoever, drop a question or a statement underneath the screen. So that's all for now, okay? Because I'm still reeling from this experience, okay? Because I didn't have it easy with cops myself as a little kid. I'll never forget. I'll never forget my time in junior high school either. It was also shitty. Even in junior high school, I didn't have it easy with cops. And not even as an adult. But I wouldn't get violent towards them because that's just going to spread the cancer. But at the same time, we got to do everything in our power to hold motherfuckers that break the law accountable. That they can't get away with murder all the time, regardless of whether or not they wear the badge. There has to be consequences. For each action, there's a reaction. Every one of us have been told that, both as children and as adults. And don't never forget that shit neither. Never in your life. So like, subscribe, and comment. If I have any more, I'll get it out later. If I'm in the mood. So until then, good luck, be well, and have a good day. Peace. Black Lives Matter. Power to the people. Black power.